the opportunity to be here tonight, and we are very grateful for we have with us Dr. Omar Zaid, who is an American, and he has reverted to Islam in 2004. Prior to his reversion to Islam, Dr. Zaid was Catholic along the riverfront industrial. He was raised Catholic along the riverfront industrial town south of Philadelphia. He's a professional musician for over 20 years, from the age of 13. Maybe he can entertain us tonight. He also served in the US Army in Europe during the Vietnam War, mashallah. He has 13 years of formal post-secondary education, 3 years liberal arts as a music major, 3 years pre-medical science, and 7 years postgraduate training in medicine from University of South Dakota. And he practiced medicine in several countries for over 20 years. So this included 10 years as an inner city ER doctor in the US and Caribbean and in Australia amongst the Aborigines. He's also a trained homeopath. In his search for truth, Dr. Zaid explored occult metaphysics and became intimate with Dr. Rudolph Steiners Enthroposophy. Is that right, Doctor? I do not know what does that mean. Maybe he can enlighten us, inshallah. And became a Freemason, then a born-again Christian, before finally reverting to Islam. Inshallah, we will listen to him tonight. He will be talking about Freemasons, Islam's enemy. And after the talk, we will open the session to question and answers. Maybe we would like to ask Dr. Omar Zaid about his experience of reverting to Islam, etc. So without further ado, I pass the mic to Dr. Omar Zaid. Fatfadal mashkura.
Oh, I can use this one. Wonderful. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. May Allah grant us refuge this night as I approach teaching you something that is sensitive. And also something that's a topic that's very, very difficult to comprehend in 1 brief hour or even two brief hours. Let me just start by saying I converted to Islam just over 3 years ago. Before that, I was a Christian missionary in Sarawak at the time. Amongst the Dayaks, I had married a Dayak Christian missionary. And I found myself alone at Christmas time, and I needed to read something, and the only book in my library I hadn't read was the Quran. And so I determined to read it in order to find out what was wrong with it. That was my goal. And by the time I finished 3 days later, I was a Muslim. Alhamdulillah. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Can't imagine why. That cost me everything I had. It cost me my family. It cost me the home I had built. I had to make a complete hijrah. Alhamdulillah. And so I gained everything while losing everything. I gained more. And after that experience, which I really don't want to go into the details now because I do want to talk about this. This is more important. I wrote a book. I had been doing research, in any case, on human sacrifice. And I never really understood the Trinitarian doctrine. So I wrote a book. I began to study human sacrifice, and I discovered through my research how human sacrifice and the doctrine, the practice of human sacrifice had inserted itself into the Christian religion. And the book was circulated. It wasn't really published. It's being published now as I speak, inshallah, in London. It's called Trinity, the Metamorphosis of Myth. And Professor Dr. Emeritus Osman Bakar read my book and invited me to join the faculty at ISTAC on just the basis of reading that book. He decided I was smart enough. Alhamdulillah. I suppose I'm a pretty smart fella. But it's just a job, really. I've done everything under the sun. I've been a milkman in London. I've delivered papers. I've been a doctor. I've delivered babies. I've been a minister. I've delivered sermons. I've done all sorts of things, and it's just another job. And whenever I have something to do, I try to do the best I can. Echo, sorry. All right. Let's see. Is that better? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit hard of hearing. It's from the days when I was a rock musician. You can imagine 35 years ago, long hair. She loves you, yeah, yeah. That's not very dignified, is it? Anyway, Professor Osman invited me to come to ISTAC, and while I was I guess I've completed my I can't do that thing. Anyway, I came to a point where the research intimately is connected with Freemasonry. Because when you understand the Trinitarian doctrine, you understand human sacrifice, if you understand and study these things, it has a history going back 12,000 years. And human sacrifice is part of what became known as the mystery religions. The Trinitarian doctrine is not a Christian doctrine. It's a doctrine that goes way, way back to ancient Dravidia, 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. Good illustrations, and if it's a little bit dark there, that's better. See, these are all Egyptians. Most of them are Muslims, and if they were successful in their manhood as a Muslim, they would never have joined the society. They would never have become a Freemason. Something was missing in their experience of Islam. And you can say the same thing about Christians, or Hindus, or Buddhists, or whoever becomes a Freemason. Something's missing in their native religion. They join organizations like this to validate their manhood. That's the bottom psychological line. Okay? Now, this validation has to do with fatherhood. It has to do with fatherhood. We all as men, we look forward to that day when we're coming up, to the day that our father puts his hand on our shoulder and says, "You're a man now." Don't we want that? Of course we do. Well, in modern society that doesn't happen anymore. Maybe in ancient society